I'm Dr. Loving. This is Popo San Juan Nepomuceno. This is Arena. This is the new meta. Now, I commit the very thing that, generally speaking, I've become against, which is Boomtown. Now, like any good person that has a strat, of course it makes sense if I do it. But as clarified in anti-Boomtown, I actually make military to protect myself, delay things, get vision on the map, those sorts of things. To begin, the Bohemians, as illustrated on the screen, don't know how I did that to bring up their tech tree and ignore mine. They can get chemistry in the Castle Age, but they cannot get bombard cannons or their unique unit, the Huff Ice Wagon. Which, before I get to that, this allows your crossbowmen to punch harder than anybody else in the game in Castle Age, as well as, most famously, hand cannoneers in the Castle Age. They're able to do that because their universities and their markets are only 75 wood a clip. Well, 100 for the university, 75 for the market, respectively. That to say, they actually have a pretty pristine infantry line, which there's a couple nuances that they could use, but that could be stated, why not now? So they do get champions, and I bring that up because I have defeated them ever so often with the infantry civ, and it just requires a lot of maneuver and so on, but the moral being it's a lot easier to pump out champions with some hand cannoneers, but that's beyond the point. The main reason why they don't even consider it is their spearman line probably do 42 damage per hit on cavalry. Elephants, I suppose, 72, 75 damage a clip, meaning tradition is 36 for cavalry, 60 for elephants, so that is their abilities. So, what makes them special is their unique units. The Huff Ice Wagon, which is the mobile wall, it limits inbound projectiles, I want to say 15 to 25%, so units behind them benefit that. They punch pretty hard, and especially in a large group, it's pretty hard to take them down, and their most radical side of their entire benefit, they get monks to be super trash units. So obviously it takes a lot, but if they get Huff Ice reforms, then they're able to pump out all monastery techs and monks as pure food. I think it's the most unutilized bonus in the game, and I think it's extremely powerful. It just needs to be, used. So he's doing a really good job of getting all of this, all the wildlife in one go, but that is a lot. And in all that, nothing to write home about their cavalry, but they have some options per se. And then they do get the mining techs for free, so goldstone, so that's really legit. Opposing him is myself, who, as the humans, yes, this is the OG Boomtown civ. So, what I've learned, you need vision, but you need a double wall off to provide as much reaction time as possible. Additionally to that, it is best to, block yourself out by building things within your gates. Humans do not get stone walls, so enjoy the architecture. This is this is one of the rare times when they'll actually have stone because it was pre-provided to them. Pre-allocated, better word. So, the humans. Interesting. Anyways, I can't shift back to the humans entry, but they get the most ubiquitous tech in the game where... Did I click? I had to, yeah. Anyways, yeah. Sooner before he did. So, I don't know why it's showing his HUD and not mine in terms of that, but it's whatever, man. So, anyways... Oh, that's how. Okay, legit. Good to know. Anyways, so they get a second town center. It takes twice as long to build as a traditional one, but super legit. So we're gonna commit to that as per the usual. Now you can also build battering rams in the feudal age, but need a blacksmith, siege workshop. It's a lot to get into. So possible, but so is this, right? I rarely, if ever, get housed as the humans, so that's a hidden plus. But anyways, so yes, 100% cavalry civ. They do get extremely powerful siege, of which they get the critically acclaimed for this game siege ram, and then the siege onager. They don't get siege engineers, but generally speaking, that's okay when you consider that. I do not believe any other cav civ gets the siege ram, and it's important to be seen. But they get the fastest paladins in the game, and I looked it up. It can, in fact, catch a cav archer, which is absolutely bongo. Moves at 1.56 comparative to the cav archer 155. But they can't catch their own cav archers and or their unique unit, the Kipchak. It's akin to a Chukanu, which is a Chinese unique archer that fires 3 arrows a clip, I want to say, and then the elite form fires 4, and then they have unique tech called rocketry, where it does added 2 damage. But for the humans, they do not get bracer, which is a little rough, but it is to complement the army, and it's 65 wood, 35 gold. So, in comparative stance, it adds 5 wood to the cost of a typified cav archer, but then it decreases 5 gold in a similar respect. Yes, pathing. It's like there's plenty of bush, plenty of berries to harvest, but it is what it is. So anyways, I did get the lumber upgrade, as well as handcart, or wheelbarrow rather. So, all that to say, I just have to turbocharge this, and my strategy, if you care to watch my third published video, I believe it's the third published video, it's called Countering the Counter. Yes, shocking, Bohemians, we know. And I was the Franklins, and I had a relatively brilliant strategy to get that done, but I took a lot more crazy engagements. I say crazy because it's a great game. I recommend you go watch it on my channel. That to say, this strategy, I know that's extremely unlikely to repeat, so I realize the only way to handle this situation is to just delay him initially for the onset. Then it's to cause as much production as possible. So usually those are areas I'm not as big a fan of, but it's what I need to do, right? So we're gonna try to commit to that. So to me, production is... Oh, and I also put my military buildings outside, block the gates in case he does anything crazy, and yeah, go from there, right? So, my only thing I care about is just to get as big as possible, as quick as possible. So I have one of two things I could do. I could try and... Sorry, there's a little... Yeah, there's a miniature skirmish, if you would, so... Now, my cav move faster, something I did not mention. 5% faster. In the feudal age, and then I catch up with, or everybody else catches up with me. Oh, Tiger with the kill! But now he's turned on me, so that's rough. Anyways, sorry, very distracted. But, yeah, so I was obviously microing this and not paying attention. So anyways, I could either go fast Imperial, or I could do something somewhat crazy. Also, my farming placement, if you want to go watch funny videos about horrible farming placement, go watch T90. But I'm not his elo, nor have I played this game as long as he has. But, I just spam farms and I don't care to OCD it because that takes more time. There's other things to do. So anyways, the only thing I care about is just production, right? And if I don't necessarily face any pressure, then great. I've always learned to just keep the foot on gold even when it's not necessary, per se. But yeah, the goal is just production and then just not as much in a rush to click up. There's times where I'm able to defend the relics. Once when I saw that he went elite skirm, I knew I had no shot with these units. So, let's see how this goes. He has no upgrades. Of course, neither do I. So anyways, seeing that, there's nothing I can do with the relics at this point, other than pumping out light cat or the scout line, which in my opinion I think is good. So we click up, we're gonna just fast forward to good part, so he's gonna get all the relics. It's very intense, but he's got a right to do that, because that will stop anything I do. So he has all 5 relics. It's something I like to do, but here we are. So anyways, here comes the production, right? It's not as important right now, because this is just getting huge. Meanwhile, yeah, he's also doing a pretty good job with production. So, we're going to build our castle. We're going to get huge. And I kind of want to go to Imperial. But, look at that. He beat me to it. Shocking. Not shocking, yes it is. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and slow it down. Put it back in normal speed. So I'm heading out, I'm getting steppe husbandry because I then realized I need to change what I'm doing and I need to get as big as possible. With as many numbers as possible in my favor. Yep, so this is some of the challenges we're going to be facing, but I have some rams, so that should help. But it's just production, right? So we're getting our stable numbers up. They only are charged 100 wood for stables and or archery ranges, so that's legit. We're starting to get in upgrades, and I did want to see if I could punch some holes in to start it out. Now the score suggests that my production theory is really coming alive. We're going to see how it goes on that. So I'm kind of waiting, right? I want to mass some units. And we're going to see what we can do, right? So I'm kind of just seeing what we have, seeing that I can get some additional res while this is happening, and that's going to be the game plan, right? So we're going to get elite steppe lancers. What I like about them is it's a little easier to decide fights, just because I don't have to impose that extra tile, and it gives me more options to reach that point. So he's focusing on the rams, which is part of a longer-term strat, but for the time being, he definitely took the better of that engagement as indicative on kill count as well as everything else, right? So, great. I got a villager kill. At this point, that's the least of our problems. So, I'm realizing, sure, get some Kipchak numbers up. Again, I committed to the Treb idea, but I will inevitably decommit knowing that it's a relatively pointless. So, got our 8 stables. I did get Thumb Ring, and then I deleted the archery range, because the thinking was, oh, I don't need it. So, we'll see if I pivot. So he's just making Typify comp, but he doesn't have rewards. This is, yeah, obviously gonna have to change what I'm doing, but I didn't even get a single bump art, so that was tough. But at this point I realized, you know what, I'm just not gonna worry about it, it's what it is. So, at this point, I just know, you know what, we can use our mobility, but I can't keep this up permanently. So that's great, just getting bombards, biding time. For what precisely, it will be evidenced. Maybe I should have closed that gap a little faster. Maybe I get it? But, I'm keeping him back, this castle's here. And I'm realizing it will be time for a game change, or a game plan change, and yeah, I've got plenty of gold right now, but that's not what's going to save me. Do I manage? Oh, I would have if he didn't cancel it. So good micro on his behalf. I realized, you know what, let's just get the villagers, try to, and that was nice. Again, I just need to buy time, right? His composition, I will not be able to challenge. Now, I say that, I could have 100% gone champion, but then he would have gotten 8 cannoneers, and I don't want to slow down the pace of the game. This is the beauty of step-ups. I'm gonna lose some, but it's easy to stack, right? And against trash units, they're somewhat better than paladins in the respect of being able to do that. The cost is only 70 30 minutes, so it's a lot better. So anyways, we're causing delays. You may or may not have seen this expansion, but the hope was no. Now, I thought he'd have a fourth castle somewhere. He did not, but I pivoted the skirms. I got human mercenaries, so that's going to help me get just, I think, up to 20 free elite checks. Because at this point I realized, you know what, I'm winning the production war, so we have to take advantage of it. Let's just try to make it work right. To his credit, he didn't open that gate. That was a lot of, which was good. How are we doing on upgrades? Maybe the armor upgrades are in? I can't. Oh, I have 2. So anyways, I've got elite, but I need more upgrades. So anyways, at this point we're winning in some respects. I'm starting to expand, which is good. So at this point, it's just, again, just production, and then try to take some stuff out and just go from there, right? So, again, we're getting some kills, which is good, and this is the entire point of this, is to cause as much just distraction, problems, and just try to set up for a finishing move. Because I will not beat his composition, I will not beat his material. So, the adage goes, it's a ticking clock on what I need to get done. I'm getting a lot of value out of this, but it's like, yep, time to go. And this is it. This is the plan. Because again, with these people, you can't buy time against them. So this castle's a good distraction, it's a good just buy me time. Again, I don't get bracers, so his skirms are going to be better than mine. What I have going for me is the now infinitum production until I run out of gold, right? That's basically it. So we're going to start massing our siege rams. I wanted 10 to 12. That was like the hidden goal. But I know that may not be realistic. And I used that one to research while these ones were going. And so at this point, it's just, again, just production, right? Now, if I was smarter, I would have just done Hussars, but I love the Step Lancer too much. This is cheap, this is cheap, this is cheap on gold, so I'm just like, you know what, I want a little more oomph. And yeah, straight up style points. But we're finally getting the upgrades in. I have the final armor upgraded. 7 Pierce armor is legit, but I don't want him to see this, so we're gonna kind of hide it. He knows I'm doing funny stuff, but the entire point of this entire decision making was I have to keep his eyes not towards the Bohemian Deathball composition that I will have no answer to. So by pulling left, pulling right, from center stage, left stage, or stage left, whatever, it's my perspective of it. This is the entire purpose. So we just gotta cause chaos. I gotta take the skirms out, take the siege out, and just go to town against him, right? I'm winning this for what I need to do. He's freaking out about the Rams, and rightfully so, but I almost got everything that I needed to. So we got our skirm numbers, decent. So I want to get in the base, and I want to cause some mass destruction. If I would have kited this, great, but he already did it for me, so that's nice. So I'm pivoting, and then I'm also, firing work. But I know I can't pick this up later. So just throw my units in, let's just get some kills, and, like, time is of the essence. It's really weird to say, but the castles were psyops. I needed something to force a reaction. And by enough time, but really that wasn't. That was not what was going to save this game. It was not map control, ironically. It was just, can I cause distractions? So we're going to see what 3 siege rams can do. I'm making more, but we're going to see how well this goes. These dudes are so tanky, and without anything with decent melee, he's got nothing. So the entire point of this is just, can we take it down? And 2 siege rams, it's kind of looking like a villain. So let's just get the kills. His production facilities are outside, so he doesn't have immediate support. Yeah, right? Yeah, it's legit. Obviously, I would love to have more punch. But he's going to try and save this castle, and, rightfully so. But I am making trebs behind this to just knock out other infrastructure while this is going down, right? I don't necessarily have to get these castles down. I want to. But I got to shut everything down, right? So I am so thankful that he called the GG, because this move worked. And you have to do something not typified to get a win against, in my opinion, the second, if not the best arena civ. In my opinion. First, you could throw a 3-way toss to the Turks and Spanish because of their respective power spikes and if you can handle it or not. And there's a few other options, but the Bohemians are always guaranteed to be top 3. Now, here's the deal. I shut down his eco. He ironically doesn't have any forward map presence. So I know with all of this going on, my goal at the next point was, yes, we're taking out his production facilities. He has to throw all his army in here to defend. And I have enough res to continue this type of a game plan. Now, that to say, we got on the base. The siege
Cool,
rams
Qatar.
are something I'd like to employ more, and it depends on the civs and so on, but generally speaking, they provided a lot more firepower than even I remember. I mean, it's been a while since I've used those. But yes, the signature part of this game was the castle psyops and just taking down what I needed to as fast and as well as I could. Again, while this was happening, this was the main effort, but this was the secondary effort, and then this was going to be the tertiary effort. So once when that other trap popped out, or the numbers
مكمل.
dwindled enough, which I mean that's pretty low, then I would have pivoted my army to the center, take out the castle, take out the production facilities, and then just keep pressing while moving my villagers forward, which is, again, part of the objectives, right? So I think it was a really good strat for what I needed to do. I think if he had the decision and the wisdom to just realize it doesn't matter what's going on. I am stagnant. I will death ball. I will push forward. That's what he should have done. Now, if I would have seen that, maybe the pivot to 40 champions and siege towers or siege rams and just like go, great. But he could probably have pivoted to hand cannoneers, most likely. So, anyways, I was nomadic. He was stagnant, and I was able to utilize speed, mobility, and aggression to get done what I needed to. It more or less took 30 minutes to get to that point, but once when the gas pedal was pressed, it just was full steam ahead. Oh, Dr. Levy played San Juan Nepo Mune. So let's go ahead and look at the stats real quick. Again, this game has weird propensities to highlight different things, but he did take out a lot of castles. So, I think this is crazy. Didn't expect that I destroyed that many units. The res count, which is always funny, but it does make sense. I beat him on gold with 5 relics. The OG Boomtown really worked out in my favor. Yeah, I only beat him going to Feudal Age, but he beat me in everything else pretty comfortably. I bested him on that as well with the villagers, again the relic goal. I mean, that's just bonko, but I've been there before. And I think that's what like really matters is once when you make it to Imp as the humans, depending on who you play, it's got to be turbocharged and it's got to be aggressive. So, Dr. Loving, till next time, peace.